Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
Welcome to the number 89 player on the 49ers roster countdown of 2023. And we've got a kicker, Zane Gonzalez, or backup kicker, probably more likely. That's why we have him so low here. But through really no fault of his own. If the 49ers didn't draft Jake Moody in the third round, I would have Zane Gonzalez way up in the 50s, almost without a doubt. Now, he had a cumulative score of 446, so you can kind of divide that by 5 to figure out where everybody ranked him. And he was not on the 49ers last year. Now, the executive producer and research of today's show was done by Josh, the 49ers guru, who's just killed it. Zane Gonzalez is interesting because you're not going to find a more heralded college kicker. He holds the most records in the history of FBS football for kicking. We'll go through some of those. And he goes by Zane, not his name. His name is Holden Fortunato Gonzalez. But he goes by Zane, thankfully, for people like me. That's an awesome name, Holden Fortunato. Anyway, he wears jersey number 10, or at least he has in the past. 6 foot, 200-pound kicker. He's got some size to him. Entering his 7th season, he's from Deer Park, Texas, and played college football at Arizona State, which is very important whenever you're looking at, players with the 49ers, because John Lynch's best friend is Herm Edwards, who was with him at Arizona State. So in each other's weddings, things like that, the amount of Arizona State players that come in through the back end of the roster is very, very high. Obviously, you got Brandon Ayuk, but they want guys that they can trust and get in-depth scouting reports, background reports on, and that's what we're going to try to do for you here today. Just self-made, 4-year starter that has just gotten better and better and better throughout his career up until he's had some injuries, and that's the only reason why he was available to the 49ers in the first place. Now, if we jump back to what he did in college with Arizona State, he was unanimous All-American in 2016. The Lou Groza Award winner, goes to the best kicker in college football. 2-time first-team All-Pac-12, 2-team All-Pac-12. I mean, he's just got everything. The most field goals ever made, 96 in football in FBS history. Most career points ever, 494. Holds 6 kicking records at the college football level. He had one game where he successfully made 3 50-plus yard field goals, much bigger leg than probably anybody else in the NFL. The issue that he just has was he was just kind of up and down. Was all academic, all district twice in high school, so the grades are there, the mentality there, the work ethics there. You like that. He was drafted in the 7th round. Pick number 224 by the Browns in the 2017 draft. Now, let's look at just real quick each year his kicking accuracy, just percentage of field goals made. Let's keep this simple. Rookie year, 75 percentile. All right, that's average. 2018, 64%. That's way below average. Then 2019, 88.6, amazing. 2020, 72.7, below average. And then 2021, you could argue one of the best years a kicker has had in the NFL, period. 90.9% field goal percentage. Made 20 out of 22 field goals. Missed 1 extra point. Was incredible. Got a new contract. Then he goes out in 2022, and sure enough, injures his quad in warm-ups before the very first game. At the end of 2021. But tore his quad. Had to get carted off the field in warm-ups, and that injury just carried over into the 2022 year. So he hasn't really played since his injury. I mean, it's been over a year that he has been hurt. Now, let's go through his transactions and kind of what his career has led to, because again, he was drafted by the Browns in 2017 in the 7th round, had a decent year. And then his second year, his sophomore year, very early in the season, the Browns, this is 2018, Browns are playing the Saints. He misses 2 extra points, misses a field goal. They're down 21-18. They send him out there for a 53-yard field goal to time it as time expires, and he misses that. They lose the game. They waive him. They cut him the next day. So he had a great year actually. After that he goes on to play for the Cardinals. Again, played pretty well. Picked up, signed, released several times with them. Then he goes to Detroit, was with them for a while. Then Carolina, was with them until the injury. He's played in 63 games, so he's got a lot of experience. The problem is just, okay, number one, the injury. The 49ers traded for him. Now, let's talk about this trade because it's a conditional 2025 7th-round pick swap, which you could only trade 3 years of assets of draft capital, and this was done before the draft. So you had 2023, 2024, 2025. This is the smallest amount of draft capital that you could ever give up to get a player. You didn't even give up a 7th. You're pick swapping. So wherever the Niners would pick or wherever the Panthers, we would just flip. Pennies on the dollar. And then on top of that, the conditionality of the contract stipulates if Zane Gonzalez does not make the roster for the 49ers, the 53-man roster, the trade voids and it goes back. So any of the cap hit numbers that the 49ers would accumulate in this trade would be null and void. So if we jump now to probably the inevitability that everybody thought this episode would accumulate with, it's almost impossible for him to make this roster with Jake Moody. Outside of an injury to Jake Moody, I just don't think that there is a possibility for Zane Gonzalez to be on this roster. Now, having said all of those things, he is going to be with the 49ers throughout probably the entirety of training camp, OTAs, all that preseason, all that stuff, because you don't have to cut down till later this year. That lasting impression, who knows about what that means for the future. And this is a tryout opportunity for Zane and all the coaching staff that is on the 49ers. The 49ers lose a lot of coaches. And so this is somebody that could move on and be with the team in the future. We'll see. But I personally think Zane Gonzalez is going to be just fine kicker. Just fine. Which was a big reason why the Jake Moody pick, which we'll have a full Jake Moody episode later on, was beyond a luxury. Now, we'll have to see how these two careers go. And again, another reason why I felt that way is because the Niners passed Zane Gonzalez on a physical. So if he is fully healed and he's coming off a 90.9% field goal year in 2021, I don't know. The leg is awesome. All those things. He'll land somewhere. But he's going to have to prove to the NFL that he is healthy, and hopefully he gets that opportunity with the 49ers. So number 89 on our roster countdown goes to kicker Zane Gonzalez. Again, somebody I doubt makes this roster, but fun player and as decorated a kicker as there is ever coming out of college football. So we'll see what lands for him, but we're just going to keep counting him down over here on the 49ers Rush podcast.